Hey, Jim Oliver here from Derflinger Oliver and Associates. I'm looking at our Avvo questions, and I see here, and I'm sorry, there's not a name, but you were in a car crash not too long ago here in Tacoma. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling better. There's some things that you put in your message that caused me concerns, not just that you were injured and you went and got treatment. That's fantastic. But having constant headaches, and it sounds like you and your estranged partner got into some arguments with each other, and emotional issues and headaches are two pretty good indicators of a traumatic brain injury and post concussive syndrome. So that's something that you should really look at. Okay, you've been to a treatment provider, and that's fantastic. You're going to want to do exactly what they tell you to do, because if you don't do everything they tell you to do, the insurance company is going to come back later and say that you failed to mitigate in your recovery, and that the only reason you're having the problems you are now is because you didn't do the things that your treatment team told you that you needed to do to feel better, right? Okay. Obviously, that can be a load of BS. And I know this because the first couple of years out of law school, I actually worked for a firm that represented a couple of different insurance companies as out of house counsel. So I know the games that they play. And over the last 25 years, I've used that knowledge to help people just like you. So let's talk a little bit about things here. Um, and I don't know if you're having any memory issues. You might want to talk to people that you see every day, friends, family. Uh, we'll talk a little bit about work later. So you're having some work issues. And you're going to want to ask them whether or not they've seen any changes in your personality. And you're going to want to take notes of these things because uh, that information has value, right? You're also, to the extent that you can, you're going to want to keep a journal. And in this journal, I'd like you to indicate what causes increases in pain, what triggers headaches. Do you have light sensitivity? Do you have any back or neck issues? Are you sometimes tight? Do you wake up in the morning thinking, oh, I feel awful? Uh, if you're walking a dog and your dog pulls you, does that tend to cause discomfort somewhere? So I'd like you to keep notes, keep a journal. And you don't have to be, completely dedicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. Uh, just routinely indicating where you're having some issues. So if you have to brush your teeth differently, right? You're going to want to make a quick note. May 12th, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I was brushing my teeth, and I was having problems doing it right-handed because of shoulder pain. I had to do it left-handed. Whatever the case may be, tilting my head back to gargle caused me some problems. Whatever the issue might be. And then you kind of want to quantify it, right? So on a scale of 10, with 1 being almost no pain or no pain, and 10 being really severe, right? Just awful pain. If you can indicate what that pain level is that you're feeling at the moment. So, uh, you go to pick up a bag of groceries and you suddenly get a splitting headache, right? And it's 7 on a scale of 10. You would indicate May 12th, picked up a bag of groceries with my right hand, got a splitting headache predominantly on the right side towards the front of my head. It was a 7 of 10 in scale. And that's it, right? It's pretty basic, a little bit of information. But when you're ready to resolve this case in 6 months, it's going to be a really important piece of information because you're not going to remember every day that you were in pain or what caused pain every day. You'll have some recollection of these things, but if you can record these things, it's even better. All right. So I'd like you to pay attention whether or not you have any light sensitivity, right? Because that can be a sign of concussion symptoms. If you have any memory gaps, if you don't remember uh, parts of this crash, which is not uncommon, that could be related to a traumatic brain injury. Speech issues, word finding problems. If there's a word that you expect to leap to mind immediately and it doesn't, that can be a sign of traumatic brain injury. And obviously, we're well past this now, so you're not going to notice blown out pupils or anything like that. But you may still be having some problems, and it's worth keeping an eye on. There are a lot of attorneys who do great work here in Tacoma. We're a little bit different, right? We're a boutique firm. We're very, very selective in the cases we take. We make sure that there's clear liability, which means that the person who caused the accident is clearly the one who caused the accident. In this case, you were rear-ended. And in Washington State, there's a presumption that the person who rear ends a vehicle is at fault. So I think you're good there. And then the issue is, whether there's insurance coverage. And here there certainly, well, almost certainly was, right? So commercial truck drivers are generally very good about carrying insurance. And you may have had uninsured motorist coverage or underinsured motorist coverage, or maybe you had comprehensive. You may also have personal injury protection. So you're going to want to call your insurance company up and ask them about personal injury protection, because that should be paying for any treatment that you get. So that means that if you go into the chiropractor, they're going to bill your PIP coverage with your insurance carrier, right? And that, for a lot of reasons, is actually really good for you, and it's going to put more money into your pocket later. Now, you should absolutely be out interviewing potential attorneys to help you out with this case, and find the firm that you feel comfortable with and that you feel is going to take good care of you. We take great care of people. As you've been told here, you have 3 years from the date of the accident to file a claim, right? Very, very few things actually end up in trial. Most of these cases resolve by way of negotiations with the insurance company. And we get exceptional results with that. And there's going to be what's called a subrogated interest, which means that either your insurance company or your healthcare team, if they provided services, they may be compensated out of the money that you get, right, in settlement. Which is why, if you can use PIP, it sounds weird, and I can explain if you call, but it's going to put more money in your pocket later. You're not going to settle this case, and no insurance savvy attorney is going to settle this case for you until you've reached what's called maximum medical improvement, right? And that means that you are as good as you're going to get. And for some people, because they've gone through physical therapy and chiropractic care and massage therapy, they actually feel better than they did immediately before the accident, right? And that's an outlier. I hope you get to that point. For a lot of people, it just means that they're back in the position where they were immediately before the accident. And unfortunately, sometimes maximum medical improvement means that they're as good as they're going to get, but they're still having headaches. They can still have light sensitivity. They can still have neck pain, but it's plateaued. It's not getting any better. It's not getting any worse, right? And those people are at the end of their treatment regimens, and things are just as good as they're going to get. At that point, if you were our client, we would do what's called a settlement demand, where we've collected all of your medical records. We've written it up in the form of a narrative that explains who you were, before this crash, what happened in the crash, what happened to you after the crash, and who you became, and what are you still dealing with. And we compare your case to a number of other cases through what used to be Jury Verdicts Northwest, and attorneys report jury verdicts to them and settlement amounts, and we can do a keyword search and find half dozen cases that are enough like yours that we have some idea of what your claim value might be. It's not science, right? But I've been doing this for over 25 years, and so we're pretty good at it. We can come up with a pretty good valuation, but you're going to have to treat first, right? Because the length of treatment is a variable that goes to the amount that you eventually collect, either through verdict or through settlement. The different modalities of treatment, so physical therapy, massage therapy, chiropractic. If you require a surgery, that's something different. So that's all factored in. Lost wages. I see that you had some job issues and some lost opportunities, and you're entitled to compensation for that. So all of that is considered in the settlement demand. We would negotiate with the insurance company for the truck driver who hit you to get to a result that we can tell you either we think this is as good as we're going to get in negotiations, and then you would decide whether or not you accept that settlement amount or if we ramp up for trial. And there's a lot to consider in that. So, those are kind of the high points. Pretty much everybody in town works on a contingent fee basis, which means that the attorney doesn't get paid until you get paid. And so it's very, very, very rare that you ever have to pay something out of pocket. And we've never had a client pay anything out of pocket. Everything's come out of a settlement with the insurance company or a verdict after trial against the insurance company. So give me a call here at Derflinger Oliver and Associates, and the consultation is free. If you can't come in to meet with us, you want to do it over the phone, that's great. If you want to do it by Zoom, that's great too. If you want to meet in person, but you're having problems getting around, I'll come to you. We can meet in person. I can lay out exactly how these things work. It's going to take about an hour to go through everything. I can make it faster than that if you want. But I will give you all the information you need to make an informed choice about how to move forward with your claim. So that's it. Jim Oliver, Derflinger Oliver and Associates. Phone number is 253 683 4180. We can get you to a great result, and I'd love to help you. And even if we don't end up helping you, call me. I can give you some more information about what you should be doing right now to move forward to the best possible result. Jim Oliver, Derflinger Oliver, I look forward to hearing from you.